Oh man, it's Friday night and I'm here talking football, man. I'm here talking football. I'm very, very, very excited. Very excited doing the thing that I love to do more than anything. So I'm very excited to do that. Mock Draft Monday is going to be at the weekend, after the weekend. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. No trades in this mock draft. I think coming down the line, there's a chance I may do a 2-round mock. I want to do a 2-round mock with trades. The NFL Network released a 4-round mock. I was actually going over that earlier today. Some really good selections kind of made me rethink my first round because I saw some players in this mock in the second, third, and fourth round that are going to be starters, and it made me kind of rethink some things. So that's kind of where I'm at. Funk, what's up, brother? Funk, actually, how are you guys doing? I'm glad to see you in the chat, brother. One Pride hit me up, and he goes, "Did you hear about Sutton?" And as a matter of fact, that this is exactly what he basically almost word for word. And I said, "Yeah, I'm monitoring it. I don't think it's a big deal." The next day, Sutton is released, and we'll find out what happens. The way things are in the NFL and kind of society right now, why is this one so much brighter than the other one? Like, oh, okay, here it is. All right, I'm still like learning some things here, getting the lights and everything. I need to put more lights around, to be honest. So, with the Cam Sutton situation, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. The Lions released him. We're in the day of age that anything like this happens, the player has to be released. I don't blame the Lions at all. Cam Sutton may prove to be innocent. We'll find out. If so, he may or may not. He may be on the exempt list. He could face a suspension. I think what's going to happen is he will be eligible for reinstatement, and there will be a team other than Detroit to sign up. But this is big because it affects the draft. And for the first time this offseason, the Lions are doing what I predicted would happen, and that they are getting worse as a team. So that's something that, just as a football sense here. Perry, man, I am fantastic, brother, doing my favorite thing. How are you guys doing? I want to touch base on this real fast. So the warrant was issued in Florida. If I remember correctly, he's a Michigan State guy. Is that right? And then he goes to school at Michigan State. A lot of NFL players have a place, two residences. It's kind of common, like when you get what NFL players do, is because you don't really know what you do is you rent out properties. So it's not uncommon for a player to rent a property. Like for example, Detroit, you're renting a place in Detroit. A lot of times the team takes care of it. And then he was down in Florida. So, my thought process was, hey man, I don't want to spend a night in jail. I'm a millionaire. I'm just going to, I'm going to hang out somewhere else. And what I'm going to do is just let my legal representation take care of everything. I'll turn myself in with the bondsman right behind me, so that all I got to do is just basically, you get your mug shot, you pay the bond, you walk out. I mean, look, nobody really wants to go to jail. I mean, let's be honest. So I didn't think too much of it, but I understand your concern, and hopefully he is okay. He is okay, because I really didn't think it was going to be a big issue. I heard that the police wanted to reach out to him. He wasn't as residents in Florida. I didn't think anything of it. However, it's hopefully he's okay. As the as a person, as the player, hopefully the situation work himself out. He'll be able to sign with another team in 2024 with the Detroit Lions. This is a big blow, and it's a blow to the NFC because I really felt like there was a gap between the 49ers and the Lions, but it was a small one. The thing is, though, the Lions got better while the 49ers got worse. This is a starter on, I can argue, the second best team in the NFC. You pick at 29. Do you want to? What do you do now? Because I'm looking at my mock draft. I wasn't going corner, but there's a couple corners that I really think that could be first round players. I didn't do a big board. My mom sent me some dishes, including my coffee cup. I'm so happy to have this, even though it's 85 outside. So I'm not doing a big board, but there's several corners I think that could go at the bottom of the first round. And now I'm looking at the Lions as one of those teams. And that's kind of where I am going in and trying to figure out my draft. I've been doing mock draft. What I do is I do constant mock drafts. And then once I do a mock draft I really like, I set it off to the side and I redo it again. If I come up with the same thing, then that's my video. And I haven't been doing the same thing. There's a few teams that I really go back and forth on. And I've been really struggling. And now the Lions, I have to wonder at 29 without trades. And by the way, I really think that there could be a trade partner. I'm looking at Pittsburgh. I'm looking at maybe Miami. I really think that both those teams could be, especially Miami. They don't have a third and a fourth. They could trade down, and I could see a team like Detroit saying, you know what, somebody's sliding that we got a first round grade on. Maybe we can jump up. Possibility the Rams at 19, same thing. So 19, 20, 21. I'm kind of circling those teams. If I'm a Lions fan, I'm looking at those spots. Maybe the Bengals at 18 as well. I say maybe because I think the Bengals, the way I've had my mock, they're just going to stand put at 18. But you never know what Cincinnati's going to do. Yeah, they don't mess around, and hopefully, I'm just going to level with you. And this is not politically correct. I may get in trouble with YouTube, but anytime I hear a story like this, the first thing that goes through my mind is a girl's chasing money, not the player doing something wrong. That's kind of the thought process that I have in my mind. I don't know if Cam Sutton did anything wrong or not. So my thought process was when this came out, the police reached out to him. Hey, it's home in Florida. If I remember right, he went to Michigan State. He plays for the Detroit Lions. Maybe he has a place in Florida, and maybe he has a place in Detroit. So my thought process is that it's not that big of a deal. But we'll find out. Funk says, I don't think it affects the draft. I believe the team already knew about this before free agency started, and they already addressed the cornerback room. That's a possibility. That's a possibility as well. I mean, there was the Carlton Davis trade I really didn't see. I also thought in the draft they could still go corner. But when I look at this draft, there's a couple corners that will be available. And then I was going through the 4-round mock, and I saw several corners available third and the fourth round that could possibly play. I could be in play. Guys that may be starting. I'm drawing a blank on the kid's name out of Mississippi State who looked like 5th, 6th, 7th round pick, but he's 6'2", and they ran a 4.33, and there's an NFL team that could take him in the second or third round. I'm looking at a team like, Detroit, for example, but hopefully Detroit's all over this. His lawyer says he hasn't had contact with him. I'm worried for his well-being, like either his girlfriend has done something to him or he did something to himself. Hopefully that hasn't happened. When I first heard about it, I personally didn't think anything of it. I know that sounds messed up, but I didn't think anything of it. All I thought was that, hey, look, he's got a place down in Florida. He's in trouble with the law. Not a big deal. Then next thing I know, he's getting cut. So, I think the Lions will still go cornerback in the draft. I firmly believe they will address cornerback. I pulled up their draft. They don't have a 4th round pick, but they got a high 3rd at 73. So they pick at 61 and 73. You could go ahead and take a corner there. I forgot who the Lions took at pick number 73 in this draft, in the 4-round mock that I was looking at earlier today. I was kind of focusing on my Chiefs, but I was also going through the mock, and I was like, man, there's some good players in the 3rd and 4th round. I kind of forgot about. And so, but 29, if the Lions stay there, the way I've had my mock drafts going and the way I see the things going, you could get a corner. I'll throw out a player who I think will be available and I think would be a fantastic addition, would be Kool-Aid McKinstry. Remember, he had that Liz Frank fracture. Probably better player than Turion Arnold, who a lot of people think will go in the top 10. Not expected to be the athlete. Then he wasn't able to participate at the combine. But watch him on tape. He's probably a top 15, top 20 player. He could slide down. I think be a wonderful addition in Detroit. I know Keys, who is been a really big advocate of the Lions. He's been a big fan of what they've been doing. So have I. But if I say it, it sounds like I'm pandering to you guys. I don't want to be that guy. It's like, oh, I got some Lions fans. I got to kiss their ass. I don't want to be that guy. So I think that Cooper DeJean may be available. And I really like Cooper DeJean on the Lions because I don't know that he's strictly a corner. He could be a little bit of a safety. You could use him in different situations. So I apologize. I'm rubbing my eyes. I didn't realize it. It just seems like my eyes are really bothering me today. Do you like TJ Tampa? I do. He might be available at 61. So that was my original thought because you're in a different situation. But when I thought that they were going to trade down, I was really under the impression that they're going to lose more in free agency, which they haven't. They haven't lost much in free agency. So when originally I was thinking they could trade down, since they traded for Carlton Davis, now I'm looking at the draft. And like I said, Rams at 19, Steelers at 20, Miami at 21. These three teams could all want to trade down in this draft. And I could see a sweet spot for the Lions trading up because the trade capital would get up to one of those spots would be like a third, and then maybe you kick back a 4. That way, you're not really losing draft picks, but you're just moving around in the draft, and you may be able to get somebody because the Eagles, I think, want to go corner. So the Eagles pick at 22, so 19, 20, or 21 may be the sweet spot to move up. Just go ahead and screw Philly. So that's kind of the way I'm seeing. I hope Dravis plays well for us. You're talking about I'm drawing a blank here. I'm a little off today. Oh, Carlton Davis. Okay, yeah. So one crazy theory, Cam told her to get out of his house over the paternity stuff. They were going through, and she had him on. Oh wow. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, listen, man, we live in a rough day and age where they were going to come out with a movie on Amazon. I unsubscribed, and I don't think they went through with it. The Brian Banks story. Do you remember that? The Brian Banks, for those of you who don't know, I'll go over the story briefly. Brian Banks was a 5-star athlete, got a full ride to USC. If you're a 5-star athlete, you're basically almost a lock to go into the NFL, which means that you're a lock to be a millionaire. And Pete Carroll was at USC. Remember all the linebackers they had at USC at the time? They had like Clay Matthews, Brian Cushing, Ray Malaga. He had a long career, not a stellar career, but he was in the NFL for 12 years. I said Clay Matthews already, or somebody else who I'm drawing a blank. So he was going to be in that line because of linebackers, and he broke up with his girlfriend. He broke up with his high school girlfriend. He's going to USC because guess what? There may be some girls there at USC that wants to hook up with future NFL players that are winning national championships, which was going on at the time. And she accused him of rape. He spent 5 years in jail. Then finally she came out and recanted her story. Pete Carroll gave him an opportunity to walk on for the Seahawks. Of course, after being in jail for 5 years, you're not ready for the NFL. They were going to make a movie about him. Sean Okafor, you remember the Baylor sex scandal and all that? He spent, I think, 2 years in jail. There was some talk about him going number 1 overall. Last I heard, he was playing Canadian ball. I didn't think about a safety issue, to be honest with you, Funk. But now that you put it in my head, I hope he's okay. Oh man, we got friend of the show, Keaton Talks Sports. What's up, brother? I think Kenny Pickett really screwed himself. He could have learned behind Russell Wilson, but was butthurt because he wasn't the number 1 quarterback. Now he's a backup behind Hurts. LOL. Yeah, I mean, it's. I'll be honest with you. When I look at the Steelers situation, if I'm Justin Fields, I try to go into this and say, listen, guys, Russell Wilson's 36. He's past his prime. I'm 10 years younger. I'm bigger, stronger, faster. Give me a chance. Give me a chance and just play like, do everything that you can. Keep in mind, he's only going to be there for 1 year. Justin Fields, he starts at all. Maybe Pittsburgh just says, hey, Russ, thanks. You're not the same guy. I mean, what's a better quarterback situation, Denver or Pittsburgh? And, so, I mean, nothing against Mike Tomlin. It's just that, I mean, Arthur Smith's fine, but, I personally, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm pretty excited. And I know you're talking about Kenny Pickett. I'll be honest with you, Keaton. I would probably do the same thing. And then the thing is with I think he just needs a reset. We'll find out, and hopefully he gets another chance. Remember, 19 minutes into the show, first name freeze. Geno Smith. Remember his situation bounced around 7 to 8 years later. He got another chance, took advantage of it. Made over $100 million. Not a bad deal. A little love here. Yeah, I mean, there's also a chance. I mean, you never know with injuries. I think it's much more likely Jalen Hurts gets hurt than Russell Wilson. And the reason why I say that's just, they run him, so much. You got a new offensive coordinator in Philly. They're going with another name freeze here, back-to-back name freeze. It's Kellen Moore, who wants to run more of a pass. To be honest with you, who's better suited to play quarterback in a Kellen Moore offense, Pickett or Hurts? It's probably Pickett, but we'll see what happens, man. He doesn't. I mean, he's 36 though, so it's kind of weird, man. I mean, the whole situation's really weird. But I think Tomlin will give Fields a chance. And if I'm Fields, I just come in and I say, look, I'm 10 years younger. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. I'm faster. Give me a chance. And if the Steelers start off slow, don't be surprised if Fields enters. I mean, even like Wildcat or 2-point conversion or 4th and 1, don't be surprised. So, I think Justin Fields will get a chance to showcase his skills anyway. I really do. I really do. So it'll be interesting. I mean, he's only going to be there for a year. He's only going to be there for a year unless he takes over the starter and Pittsburgh wants to sign him to a 3-4 year deal or 2-year deal. You never know. Scott, what's up, brother? Yeah, I'm in enemy territory. I'm here in Vegas. So I've driven by Allegiant Stadium several times. I've actually driven by. So I live in a town called Henderson. I call it Vegas, but it's like Overland Park to Kansas City or Shawnee. I think you're in Shawnee. And the Raiders headquarters is located in Henderson. I drove by it several times. Beautiful. Beautiful. I also took a delivery to a neighborhood that makes Loch Lloyd look like a trailer park. It's this gated community. It was really funny. I'll try to keep this short, but the street dipped and I was going through pretty fast because it was like 45 mile an hour and then 35. And I thought I was going 35 to 45, but it goes 35, dips into this wooded area, and then there's a guard shack. So I had to slam on the brakes, and the guy kind of looked at me sideways. I apologized. So then, I was like, hey, I'm with Sam's Club, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I call this in. There's like a line of cars behind me. I should have took a picture of the screenshot of the name because it's this golf course. It's you can look this up. It's Dragon Ridge. I believe movie stars, athletes live here. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. So. Kind of cool. I went to a multi-million-dollar neighborhood with enclosed country club on top of the mountain. It was just amazing. Like I said, it made Loch Lloyd look like a trailer park. Most of you don't know what Loch Lloyd is. I apologize, man. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so yeah. So, but you know what I'm talking about. But yeah. Scott, it's good to hear from you, man. It's good to hear from you, man. Hopefully you've been checking out my mock drafts. Releasing one again on Monday. Perry says Wilson can be cut the Steelers if Russell Wilson play. Yeah, exactly, Perry. Here's the thing: picking up Russell Wilson and picking up Justin Fields, there's absolutely no loss to the Steelers. It's kind of a win-win for them. The only thing is, though, when I look at that AFC North, and I think Keaton and Keith said the same thing when they were on Tuesday, is that they said that they thought the Steelers were the fourth best team in the AFC North, and that's the way I look at it. When I look at the AFC North, I still think Baltimore's the top dog. Cleveland was a playoff team that you're getting a healthy Nick Chubb. Notice I said Nick Chubb before Deshaun Watson. I still think Deshaun Watson's a very talented, very good quarterback. You have this great defense. So Browns and the Browns and the Ravens, really, really good. Joe Burrow, if he's healthy, the Bengals make the playoffs. So, I mean, I liked Patrick Queen signing, but this team needs to run the ball, play good defense, and then needs quarterback to be a game manager. If Russell Wilson goes into this situation and he says, hey, you know what? I'm going to play ball control. I'm not going to turn the ball over. I'm not going to try to play hero ball. I'm not going to try to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. It worked in Seattle when they won Super Bowls. It should work here. So if it does, then you never know. But when I look at the AFC North, and things could change, I see the Steelers as the fourth best team. I really do. And by the way, I still think they could win 9-10 games. It's just I think the AFC is tougher than the NFC. But when I look at that AFC North, it's like who's going to finish? Who's going to finish last? And it has to be the Steelers. Even though you could say, hey, with Russell Wilson, they go they're going to be better than they were last year at the quarterback position. I don't think they improved that much. I really don't. By the way, I still think Russell Wilson's fourth best quarterback in that division. So, depending on when KC goes to the Steelers, I'll go out there for that game. I was there when Mahomes threw. Oh, God, yes. That was the 2019 season. He had 6 touchdowns. I think it was 5 incompletions. He just lit up that was Mahomes', I think, second start. And people were like, yeah, the NFL's in trouble. When you know what, Scott, I don't have the schedules memorized. The move's been difficult, man. I'm just going to level with you. The move's been very difficult. People from California, so people from Kansas say Missouri people can't drive. People from Missouri say Kansas people can't drive. Nobody thinks California people can drive. It's a whole new level of stupid. Rush hour traffic is insane out here, and gas is over $4 a gallon. Except for those things. Also, at Walmarts, all the Walmarts, multiple things are locked up. Somebody have to tell me, is this true at other parts of the country? Because where me and Scott live, you can go to Walmart, you can buy anything. If you go to buy razors is one. Every Walmart has razors. You have to get an employee to unlock the razor cabinets. I wonder if anybody else. I didn't expect that. They're really, and also there's a lot of homeless people around here. But it's kind of weird because people like it's not. When I see a homeless person, I get a little bit afraid personally because like I would rather rob somebody than be homeless. But it's people are like, oh, it's a big deal, you know. They're just hanging out, you know. They got a sign, it's a big deal. Whatever. I've been mocking. I probably shouldn't say this because I probably shouldn't say this because I've been. I want you guys to check out my videos, but yeah, they do need to have a good draft. But I've been seeing them take the same guy over and over again, and that's Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon. I call him a center. You know, I call him a center, but the truth is he can play. He's called an interior offensive lineman, but I've been mocking the same thing to the Steelers, and he would be a plug and play guy. So you increase your offensive line, you increase your quarterback. You have 2 picks in the 3rd round. God, I wish I did. It came out today on the NFL Network, a 4-round mock, but I do remember the Steelers in the 3rd round. They got some players. I was like, yeah, this can work. So. They're locked up everywhere. Okay, so where I lived in Overland Park and where Scott lives in Overland Park, they don't. So, yeah, but I mean, I'm talking to Shaven. Yeah, like you know what I'm talking about, the cheap Gillette razors. So I didn't know they were locked up everywhere. I didn't know that they weren't in Overland Park, but they're out here. Divine Comedy, what's up, brother? Man, he goes, I hate Chiefs fans. You guys are living the dream. Yeah, I know. Dude, listen, it was funny. I bought some running shoes and I said, you know, if you can follow my YouTube channel, even though I'm a Chiefs fan, and he was showing me some shoes that were the Vegas Knights, the hockey team, the black and gold tight colors, by the way. It's kind of one thing about Vegas. All their teams are black. It's kind of cool. You know, you got the black and gold and you got the black and silver. I think the WNBA team, which won a couple championships, I've never seen a WNBA team. I think they're called the Vegas Aces, kind of cool name. I think they're black and red. So it's kind of cool, but she's like, oh man, you want to talk some trash? And I said, you know, hey, look, you know, we got the best quarterback, who's the best player in the National Football League, maybe the greatest tight end of all time. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, so I'm doing. By the way, I'm ruining Chiefs fans here in Vegas by talking trash. But I mean, Hey, look, back-to-back Super Bowl wins. I'm enjoying it. I'm a big fan of NFL history. I know how rare this is. I know how exceptional it is. Yeah. I think everyone is sleeping on my Seahawks again, though. The Seahawks are an interesting team because you got McDonald coming in. I didn't like the fit as head coach. I really didn't. I also understand. So I've talked about this before. So here's the drill. Paul Allen, he was the founder of Microsoft. He bought the Seahawks. He was involved with the team. I mean, he went to all the owners' meetings. He was involved in the NFL. He had Pete Carroll and John Schneider, which, by the way, it's the same power structure the Chiefs have. Clark Hunt, who's the owner, he has both Andy Reid and Brett Veach, the general manager. Both of those guys report directly to him. It's not a ladder or how most NFL teams work. Most NFL teams, they have an owner who hires a general manager. The general manager will run the team, or the general manager will be part of a committee that has a president. And I get it. His daughter, who, listen, if you were born with $50 billion, you probably don't want to talk to a guy like Pete Carroll. I get that. It makes sense to me. I understand. She just, hey, look, John Schneider, I'm going to have him run the team. I don't want to deal with Pete Carroll. So John Schneider's running everything now. I can't think of her name. But I didn't agree with it. You're going to make some changes on defense, a lot of changes. It's going to be a different scheme. How fast can you get it up and running? You're bringing in Leslie Frazier, who I was told is a mentor. The defense that they ran in Baltimore is not what Leslie Frazier runs, so I'm not sure how that's really going to pan out. You don't have a second-round pick, but you were able to sign Leonard Williams, which is a good thing. Here's what. Let me do this. I just got done talking all these bad things. Let me talk the good things. Maybe the best trio of receivers in football. A really good running back room. I'm very high on One Pride's buddy, who I'm just drawing a complete blank on. I had a couple name freezes here. The running back out of Michigan State. If One Pride was here, he'd be pissed. Really like that kid. Zach Charbonnet was another guy really high on. Your tackles you drafted a couple years ago, Charles Cross, and was it Anthony Devine, something like that? I probably got the name wrong. Really good starting tackles. Your interior solid. The offense has a chance to be I'll be honest with you, the offense should be a top 10 offense. Walker, yes. I'm so embarrassed about that, man. God, thank God One Pride's not in the chat. He'd be pissed. So the offense should be top 10. If you can fix the defense, make them confusing, get some turnovers. I've been mocking them trading down in this draft, which would make a lot of sense to me. You get the defense to be middle of the pack, you can be a 10-11 win team. I don't like the coaching decision, but we'll find out this draft is important. They need a few players. The offense should be top 10. The offense, when I look at the offense, I'm like, God, this offense can be really good. If you believe in Geno Smith, which I've never been. But I know Pete Carroll did, and he's played well. So who would you rather play, the Finns and the Eagles or the Cowboys and the Bills this season? I ask because people are saying the Lions have a harder schedule than I'm assuming than the Pack. Oh boy, I would rather play the Dolphins and the Eagles personally. You're talking to a Chiefs fan who has the Bills have had our number in the regular season, but I like us in the playoffs. I think the Cowboys are. I hate to say this, man, but I think the Cowboys are better than the Eagles. So I would say I'd rather play the Dolphins than the Eagles. So yeah. The Dream is better than the Royals. I don't follow baseball, man. I have no idea what's going on. But Scott, keep me informed of everything Royals, Kansas City. I really miss it. The weather out here has been perfect. Today it's like 85. It's the hottest it's been so far, and everybody's been saying the same thing. Just wait till it's like in the hundreds. Because I haven't used the air conditioning here. I haven't used the air conditioning in my car, but it's coming soon, and I know it's going to be that way for like 7 months. Yeah, I really miss Kansas City. I'm glad. Here's the thing. I mean, I've been out here a little over a month, but there's a big part of me that thinks I made a mistake. Just like, hey, I'm going to come out here. I haven't talked to you about it, so yeah. Not only the Raiders, Perry, Oakland Athletics are coming here. There's talk about an NBA basketball team. Construction is crazy. I drove by. They're building neighborhoods at a crazy rate. So in Overland Park, they're building like a new neighborhood. Out here, I'm driving by a place they're building 5, and that's just one place. I mean, construction's expanding. There's mountains that they're building houses in a row, kind of like a drill or a top. It's crazy. I enjoy it, bro. We're one play from going back to back. Nothing but respect for you guys. Yeah, you were one play away. Loved. It's funny. For the longest time, I kept on saying that Pete Carroll should go back to USC, and he proved me wrong. We'll see if Seattle proves me wrong, because I really don't think they should have moved on from Pete Carroll. I really don't. So, yeah, Frazier runs at Tampa too, and Mike McDonald kind of runs that new amoeba-style defense. But the thing is, though, Mike McDonald runs a lot of blitzes, where the Tampa 2 is more of a zone coverage where you try to put pressure at just 4. It seems like a square peg in a round hole. I look at that team, and he's a guy. Here's the deal with Seattle. I look at the offense, and I'm like, this offense could be awesome. So if you're going to let go of Pete Carroll, you should have gone with an offensive-minded coach. So you got the oldest coach in the NFL. I think he's the oldest coach. Now you have the youngest coach in the NFL, but he wants to run a different style system. And then it's a common practice that when you bring in a new inexperienced coach, that you want to bring in a veteran coach. And apparently these two work together. These two known each other for a long time. Great. They run different schemes. They run completely different schemes. He's a phenomenal defensive coordinator. But the Tampa 2 defense and what Mike McDonald, I don't know what to call this defense. I'm going to call it an amoeba defense. It's that hybrid 3-4-4-3. It's more of a 3-4 that does a lot of blitzing, where Frazier's defense does no blitzing. And your top 3 linebackers are all gone, including Bobby Wagner. I think is a top 10 inside linebacker of all time, but he was starting to show his age. I forgot where he signed to. I should know this, because I think he's just a great linebacker. Talk about the greatest middle linebackers of all time. His name doesn't enter the conversation. Probably should. Raven 76 B more. Salute. Happy Friday. It's funny because Baltimore is a team that when I go through the draft, I always have them like, oh God, this is going to be a good draft for Baltimore. Probably over the last. It's kind of funny because it's Ozzie Newsome's last draft, I think, was Lamar Jackson. The Commanders. He went to Commanders. I remember I liked where he went. So, but ever since that, Josh, called him. I got his name wrong. I was trying to say Josh Allen. Oh boy, look what Vegas has done to me. You have Lamar Jackson. Ever since that draft, no team's drafted better in Baltimore over the last 5-6 years. Nobody, and it's turned into wins. And no, they haven't won a Super Bowl, but you have wins. I love the Derrick Henry signing. Andrew Voorhees, who's going to take over at guard. Great signing. I think he's going to be phenomenal. I'm a little curious what you're going to do at right tackle. I remember you drafted a dude out of Minnesota who could be 400 pounds, Daniel Flay, something like that. And I know that towards the end of the season, they were using him at right tackle. I think he played okay. I don't know if he's your starter or not. Dan, everybody plays the Chiefs in the regular. Yeah, they do. They do. And I think it took them off guard last year. I think this year they're going to be ready for it. Like every single game. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's snowing. Yeah, it's 85. So except for one, there was like a weekend, it was rainy and it was like 60. So it wasn't that bad. I wore shorts. Yeah, the weather here has been perfect. So for those of you that don't know, I don't like to advertise this. I drive. I do a Walmart Spark, and I make considerably less here than I did in a place called Overland Park, Kansas, where Scott lives and I live. And with the gas, and so with gas being much more expensive and traffic being much worse, and you're making less money, it's been frustrating. But the weather here has been great. The condo I rented was in much worse shape than I expected. It didn't look that bad. And the owner has argued about fixing several things. So, it's slightly cheaper than Overland Park and it's bigger. It's just, it's kind of, it's like, there's nothing really appealing about the place. It's an older condo that I seriously spent dozens of hours cleaning and it's still, I wouldn't call it clean. So, yeah. I actually, you know what? I was convinced he did sign. Is that I know he's in Baltimore. I thought he signed already. I actually thought he signed, and I think it would be an excellent signing. No, he didn't sign. Okay. Yeah, it'd be an excellent signing. Ravens, I'd be very Ravens, I'd be wary of it. Josh Reynolds has only performed when Goff is throwing to him. He's solid wide receiver 2-3 if he's on the same page with his quarterback. But if he's not, he's not even worth being on the field. So here's the deal. Zay Flowers, hopefully he matures and grows up. I feel like a dick for bringing that up, but seriously, Zay Flowers doesn't do that taunting and then tries to make up for it by fumbling the ball the 2 plays later. That's probably the difference between winning and losing Zay Flowers. So you have Zay Flowers, who looked really good at times. Rashad Bateman and Nelson Aguilar are both 2 receivers I really like. I don't know if they're good number 2s or 3s. It's hard to say. Zay Flowers is the best receiver on that team, even if you had Reynolds. I was thinking about mocking a receiver to Baltimore, but I've been going in a different direction almost every time. So that's kind of why I like Reynolds, because when I look at the draft, I'm like, what could Baltimore do? And it's like, well, I've been going anti-receiver, but you could. So. Yeah, I really like that. And more because he's familiar with the defense. He's going to be more important off the field than on the field. I really like what the Commanders have done this offseason. Really like what they've done. I don't know how many games they're going to win, but I really like what they've done. Green Bay does draft well. Yeah, Green Bay drafts well. But over the last 5 years, I don't think anybody's drafted better than Baltimore. I like Pittsburgh's draft last year quite a bit. I've been a big fan of Pittsburgh's draft. Kansas City's done okay. Rashee Rice in the second round was easily my favorite pick, but I remember they drafted FAU, the local kid, and I wasn't happy at all. Matter of fact, I forgot where he went to. Isaiah Folkesley, he's a second round pick, and I'm drawing a blank where he went to. I liked him a lot better, and I was kind of hoping he had like a half a sack. Oh, he went to the Saints in the second round, and he had half a sack. So. Funk okay to games. I saw he was very productive. As a Lions fan, you would know him better. I will do my study of film. I think he'd be a great signing, and the reason why is that I really think that adding another guy in that receiving room would help, because I like Aguilar, I like Bateman. They're solid, decent guys. If they're a combination of 2 and 3, Bateman just really hasn't been able to stay healthy. He hasn't put it all together. I really believe if he does put it all together, he's the guy to be a very solid number 2. I expect Zay Flowers to be better. Mark Andrews, arguably one of the best tight ends in football. Isaiah Likely, a receiver at Coastal Carolina, but he's 6'4", 250. So, hey, look, he got played tight end. Really, 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 really played well last year. Scott, if he's still in the chat, he'd have to ask him. But I really felt like Baltimore had a better team than Kansas City last year. They just didn't have Mahomes, and they also wanted to throw the ball. So, but if you're a Ravens fan, you should be very, very excited. The Lions picked him up when the Titans just jumped him because he was next to you. Yeah, he was useless. The Serpent of Death is a cool thing. I could see Leggett or Johnny Wilson with the Ravens. I could too. And a guy like Johnny Wilson. Matter of fact, I think that's who Baltimore had. So I've talked about this 4-round mock, and I haven't had as much time to do other things, because I would really, if I was doing YouTube full time, I would go over this 4-round mock and I would do a video of it. Last year, there was a 3-round mock. I did a reaction video too. I'd love to do more reaction videos. It's just that I've spent a lot of money with the move, and there's been some unexpected expenses. Part of it is just me, but the 4-round mock, they had Johnny Wilson going to the Ravens in the bottom of the second. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. That'd be a good move. Yeah, the DJ Reader was a phenomenal move, because I could really see like a guy like Darius Robinson, if he was available. I could see him, if you didn't sign DJ Reader, Darius Robinson might be the pick. Now you can think about offensive line, but you signed Kevin Ziegler. Now with the Sutton situation, you can go corner. So I'm really floored. And by the way, Funk, it's funny because me and Keys text each other. Like if there's some big news, Keys will text me because he knows I drive, and his schedule's just gotten kind of chaotic. But usually he'll post stuff or he'll argue with people. Keys likes to argue with people on Twitter. It's one of his things. But he's been like, man, these Lions, like. And I've been teasing him over the last couple of weeks. I've been calling him like, they're your Lions. You're no longer a Chiefs fan. You're a Lions fan. You guys worn off on them. And there's a handful of teams I could say that really did well this offseason. The Lions, to me, I don't know if they've had the best, but they've been like one of the more impressive teams, and not because of what they've signed, because they haven't really lost anything. Up until the Sutton situation, the Lions, I remember I did my plus minus. Well, now I would give the Lions a plus until Sutton. Now I'm kind of like a push instead of a minus, where the Niners I'm giving a minus to. Even though they've made some decent signings, I would say that the Niners I'd give a minus to. The Lions I'm now doing a push. So which team's the best team in the NFC? How they address the Sutton situation, and you could be right. They may have known about this ahead of time. That's why they made the Carlton Davis trade. We'll see what they do in the draft, because me and you've been commenting on my videos and in the commentary, and I can't thank you guys enough. By the way, comments help out big time on the channel, so the more comments, the better. Even if you disagree with me, put a comment in the video. It's always appreciative. And you commented that Darius Robinson, which I was tempted to mock to Detroit. But now that Sutton's gone, I have no idea. I haven't got, so for mock draft Monday, so every day I do a couple of mock drafts, and I've been mocking different things to different teams. There's a team in the middle of the pack. I don't want to say who it is. I mock something different. Basically, my draft goes almost the same. And then there's a team in the middle of the pack that I don't want to say who it is. It always trips me up, and I always pick something different every single time. And then the dominoes fall. So Perry says the Ravens took a risk on Andrew Voorhees and may pay off on him. Yeah, he's going to start, and he's going to be amazing. He's going to start, and he is going to be amazing. He's going to be really good. And I completely forgot about it. They signed Josh Jones, who was I thought he was a first-round pick. So I had a first-round grade on him, but I shouldn't say I had a first-round grade on him, but I had him mocked going in the first round. And but Andrew Voorhees, you watch, he'll be a starter. He's going to be a really good player, barring injury, of course, because that's how you got him. So the Trek Reviewer, what's up, brother? Trek Reviewer, what have you thought about my 2 latest mock drafts? The one I'm coming out Monday. Monday's mock draft will not have any trades, but I will go through and point out, hey, this team could trade up, this team could trade down, and I'm depending on the time, I may give like some specifics because, like I was talking about the Lions, I could see the Lions trading with the Rams at 19. Dolphins at 21, Steelers at 20. I was trying to remember 20, but yeah, it goes Rams, Steelers. It goes Rams at 19, Steelers at 20, Dolphins at 21. And if I have enough time, I'll put in the video, hey, the Lions could trade here, or the Lions could trade there, or the Rams could trade down to here. But it's a time issue because I haven't got the mock draft ironed out yet because I picked there's one team in the middle of the draft. I've been switching up things with the Lions. I think I got ironed out now. So once I get the mock draft ironed out completely, hopefully the video will be good. But check it out. Mock draft Monday's coming. So we got the B in the back talk, brothers. The great one. The talent. Gooch. Oh man, it says sorry I'm late, half price week. You know, Gooch. I was actually tempted to call you and like, can I work for you or something? I might hit you up and see if I can have your numbers. If nothing else, maybe I can use you as a reference. So, but how's it only a push? Davis and Robertson are an upgrade in the cornerback room. Didn't lose anything on the O-line. Reader is a huge upgrade on the D-line and only lost Josh Reynolds, but did bring back DPJ. I think it's a big deal because you're going from, for the first time since I can remember. No, I got it. I know exactly what you mean. For the first time, you're going to be favored to win the division. Your schedule is going to be more difficult. You're going to have teams going for you. It's different. Listen, trust me on this. It's different being the hunted than to be the hunter. Teams are going to be ready. Teams are going to get up for the Lions. All right. Teams are going to be prepared now. And I look at the Carolina Panthers when they went to the Super Bowl, Riverboat Ron, and everything worked out. Cam Newton won the MVP. They get to the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl. Remember that 15-1 season? They went 6-10 the next season. Now, a lot of that was Cam Newton got hurt. The 15-1 was kind of a mirage. I mean, Cam Newton played the best season. I think the line it's just going to be difficult. By the way, when I say push, I'm talking 12 wins, NFC championship. That's pretty good. Because when I said minus, I'm thinking, okay, you're not getting to the NFC Championship. You're not one of the two best teams in the NFC. So now when I say push, I'm saying, okay, you're a 12-win team. That's really good. You're one of the two best teams in the NFC. That's also pretty good because I think Dallas has more talent. I'm not sold on McCarthy. I don't think you are either. The Eagles on paper got a lot better, but I mean, they had that collapse. It's just weird. Atlanta gets Dallas Turner, and I've been mocking that. And all of a sudden they get a pass rush to that defense. And Kirk Cousins plays really good. Atlanta's a scary team. Let me ask you this. And I'm not. I don't get mad. Don't get mad. Best out of 3 or best out of 5. Are you sure you beat the Rams all those times? Are you sure? Because I know they lost Aaron Donald. I know they lost Aaron Donald, but yeah. Man, I can't spur. Yeah, I was thinking that you're going to take a step back, and that's what I mean. You're not going to be the second best team in football. You're not going to be 1.5 quarters away from a Super Bowl. You're not going to be a 12-win team. Now it's a push. So I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you up. I don't want to go on to it here, but I was going to hit you up. I'll talk to you off the air. But yeah. I can see the Bills packaging their 1 and a couple late round picks to get a couple more day 2 picks. I see Sweat going to Buffalo. So it's kind of funny when I did my. Please watch the video, but I have Buffalo trading out of round 1, and I have them trading with Carolina. And the reason why is that the Bills don't have a 3rd round pick. Well, Carolina has the 1st pick in the 4th round, the 1st pick in the 2nd round. So the 1st pick in the 4th round. Almost the same. And they have a ton of late round picks. What is it? I think it's like 9 picks in rounds 5, 6, and 7. Buffalo has a crazy amount of late round picks. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, 7. 3 picks. So here's what they have. 2 picks in rounds 4, 3 picks in rounds 5, 3 picks in round 6, and 1 pick in round 7. But they don't have a 3rd round pick. So I was mocking a trade with Carolina, and I thought the fair compensation would be 33 and 96 for 28, and you probably have to throw in a 5th or a 6th, probably a 5th, a late 5th, your final 5th. And so I was thinking Buffalo would pick at 33, and then Buffalo would pick at 96. Now, 96 is the top of the 4th round, so it's not the same as the 3rd, but, I mean, it's basically the same as the 3rd. So that's what I see. You see Sweat going to Buffalo. That's interesting. You know what? He could easily go to 60. Buffalo picks at 60, but I don't want to ruin it because I want you to watch it. It helps me out. So do watch the video. But in my latest mock, I had Carolina trading 33 and 96 for 28 and something. And to me, that made sense. And if I'm Buffalo, I would love to pick at top of the 2nd and top of the 4th. And then I did a 2-round mock. So I didn't publish the 2-round mock, but I had Buffalo at 33. Drawing a blank on the kid's name, the offensive lineman out of West Virginia, who would, I mean, he could play anywhere in the interior. I keep in mind I didn't do any trades in the 2nd round. I just kind of zipped through. So okay, there's not a lot of hate for him. I'm not sold on him. I know he won a Super Bowl, but I mean, the team that he had, they really left some rings on the table. They really did. The 15-1 season that the Giants beat them. I know the Giants went on and won the Super Bowl that year, so you lost the Super Bowl champs. The fact that he didn't change the offense up, that teams kind of adapted to it. The feud with Aaron Rodgers was just kind of, I think, I get it. Rodgers is a different type of dude and everything. I'm not sold on him. I don't think he's bad. I really don't. But I'm not sold on him. And they were much more talented than Green Bay. Much more talented, and they got outcoached. That was the only thing. Green Bay had a game plan, and they just executed better. That was it. They were just outcoached. So I seriously, if I was going through the coaches in the NFL right now and I was going to rank 1 through 32, he wouldn't be in my top 10. But listen, I've had a very few. I don't have a lot, and I need to get more. But Cowboys fans expect a Super Bowl every single year, and that's expectations. McCarthy's not a top 10 coach. I'm not even sure he's a top 15 coach, if I'm being really honest. Probably somewhere between 10 and 15. Yeah. Yeah, well, here's the deal. I didn't release the 2-round mock. And it was made on Monday. So. But I think the Bills could do exactly what you said, though. And I mean, I think the Bills are going to be a fun team in this draft because they're not going to take 9 players between rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. They're not going to take 9. They're going to maneuver. They're going to maneuver up in the 4th round. They'll probably maneuver in the 3rd round. They're going to be a fun team. I think they're going to be a fun team. I've been joking around with Funk that I want the Lions to take a quarterback because I want the chaos. So, but I made it before. So, decent coach, won the Super Bowl, but ever since coming to Dallas, he fails to make adjustments come playoff time. Yeah, he was completely outcoached in the playoffs. So. If the Panthers are smart, they would be getting wide receivers with their 2 second-round picks. So that's what I had Brian Thomas Jr. free falling in this draft. And I was like, does Buffalo take Brian Thomas Jr.? But I could see Carolina saying, no. We'll trade you the first pick in the 2nd round, the first pick in the 4th round. They get Brian Thomas Jr. But it wouldn't surprise me if at 33 and 39, they go ahead and get receivers. I could also see them at pick number 65. I could see 33 and 65. I'm drawing a blank on the Texas tight end. Most people have him the 2nd best tight end. You could also get a player like him in the 2nd or 3rd round if he's available. I do think that either at 33 or 39, if they don't trade back into the 1st round, I've said this a lot. I could see Detroit trading up. I could see Detroit trading down. There could be a team, that wants to trade down. Carolina. Yeah. And by the way, I could see Carolina, if Brian Thomas Jr. free falls, I could see Carolina saying, hey, look, let's get this guy. So, oh man, look at this, man. I got Denver Gator. Denver Gator goes, all right. I talked about this quite a bit, but if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, I want to say Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's kid. He went in the 3rd round, I think, to Buffalo. I remember him going in the 3rd round in this 4-round mock that I talked about earlier. I should have done a reaction video because I really liked it. I was getting a kick out of it. I was watching it. there wasn't a video. It was just on the NFL Network. And I was going through, and Brendan Rice was in the third round, and I was like, I like this pick. I want to say it was Buffalo. I've been toying around with Buffalo. Buffalo's a team at 28. I've mocked receiver, either Brian Thomas Jr. Was it Adonde Worthy? Not the 4-2-1 guy. The other Texas receiver. I always get the two mixed up. Here. Hold on, let me get his name right. It's not on this list here. I got all my draft list stuff here. It was at Worthy, Adonde Worthy, Adonde Mitchell, the Texas receiver. Yeah, Adonde. Yeah. I've been mocking Buffalo's team that I've been doing different things with. I could see that. Unicorn Overload? I've never heard of that. Bills could also go corner. Yeah. Losing Mike Hyde and Jordan Poyer are key losses they need to address. I really think that the way I could see them going safety. I could see them going corner. I could see them go offensive line. I didn't know about the signing until just now. I could see them going receiver. They have a lot of late round picks. I really, really like the trade, though, that they made with Carolina, trading back and getting the first pick in the second round, first pick in the fourth round. That made a lot of sense. There's a running back, a famed player. I forget his name. It's a role-playing game. It actually sounds cool. I brought two Xboxes. Only have one hooked up, and I only play one game on it, but I was thinking about, like, maybe I need to unwind, play some more video games, but I haven't yet. But this is a guy that I've been toying around, mocking him at Buffalo at 27, San Francisco at 31, and Baltimore at 30 is a possibility as well. Most people put receiver at 32, for Kansas City. I've not been doing that. And the reason why I haven't been doing that is that Kansas City has a blueprint of taking receivers in later rounds and addressing other positions. And I think that they're going to stick with that. I firmly believe Kansas City will draft a wide receiver. They just won't get one in the first round. So I have an old school Xbox 360, and I have an Xbox One. I swear it's possessed because I've shut it off, and then there's, like, I'll come home and the fan's still running, and it's like, what the hell? But I was thinking about getting. I know Xbox is coming out with something new, only because of the new college football game. The only, and I thought about, like, I know they're going to come out the players, because I actually downloaded the version, and then I downloaded the new rosters, and I downloaded one that had a few of the new teams and changed UNLV Stadium to the elite. Well, it's a modified stadium, but they're no longer playing in Sam Boyd. I'm actually like it's not 5 minutes, but it's like less than 5 miles away from where UNLV used to play. They play now at the Raider Stadium, but the old Sam Boyd Stadium. It's actually gorgeous on the outside. I think they're going to tear it down because it's next to, like, a park, and then they're, like, expanding the whole area. But it's actually really good. So, Marquise Goodwin, yes. I don't want to take Worthy because the last time he took a speed wide receiver out of Texas, he sucked. Marquise Goodwin. So Worthy's a different player. And I've mocked him at times, going to Buffalo at 28, San Francisco at 31. it wouldn't surprise me if Carolina takes him at 33 or 39. He's an up and down dude. If you get, he's a guy I really would like to. I'd like to see him go with the right team. I think he could be a star. He could also be a bum. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I play on the 360 every now and then it's there's a couple different rosters I have saved, but I love doing it. I love downloading like the new roster, and I'll do that. I haven't done it in a year, but I love doing that. I love downloading the new rosters, and what I do is on the 360 is, I don't know if you've ever done this. This is probably silly, but I pick like one of the 1-star teams, and I choose offensive or defensive coordinator. Then I run a simulation, and whichever team opens up a head coaching job, that's the school I take over, and I like doing that. My Xbox Ones make more noise when I shut it off than when yeah. So it's really weird when I shut it off. Like, I've done this where like I've shut it off and I hear a noise, and it's the fan, and I swear it's possessed. So I have a 360. So here's what I brought with me. I brought my 360 and my Xbox One. When I first hooked up, it was just easier because I have an old TV. So to hook up with YouTube TV, it was just easier to because my TV I have is really old. So what I did is that I only brought one of my TVs. I brought a really old TV. I don't think it has the wireless. So I hooked up the Xbox so I could watch TV. So when I watch TV, I watch it through my Xbox. I have YouTube. Does that make sense? Yeah, I watch YouTube TV through the Xbox because I have an old TV, and I just haven't bought another one. So I have a TV upstairs, so I have to sleep with the TV on. So once the bed arrived, I put the TV upstairs. My living room is empty. I don't know if you can tell that's the window that's on the other side. There's nothing. There's a fireplace behind me. I got some starter logs. I'm probably not going to use them because it's when I went outside earlier, it was 85. So probably not going to use the fireplace again till, I don't know, unless there's a day that like it gets cold or whatever, because I saved some cardboard boxes and stuff. But I need to buy a couch and a TV for the living room. I just haven't. So North Texas is a fun. The number one thing I loved about NCAA is I loved the recruiting. That was my favorite part, and I loved recruiting. I tried to recruit as many athletes as I can, and I'd always flip them around, and I loved it because you never knew what type of team you were going to get. If you got a team with a bunch of receivers, I'd run a passing offense, and then if I had a bunch of good running backs, and then I switched it up where I would be a run heavy team. The last several times I played, I just wanted to be a run heavy team. So, but yeah, I North Texas is fun. Yeah. And then I also switched to conferences too. So like I tried to make all the conferences. One version has what do you call it? The one of the versions has like the majority of the new teams, but they took some of them out because Idaho went down to 1AA. So it's like it's all Idaho, but it's called I think Charlotte or something like that. But yeah, when the new NCAA comes out, I may buy the PS5 just so I can play NCAA. Could be someone, yeah. That it might be. I don't know, but both my 360s died over the last year. My PS4 has become a daughter streaming system. Yeah, I still, so I have the Xbox One, which is connected to the upstairs TV. I use that so I can watch TV. It's kind of messed up because like I do everything in my it sounds bad. I do everything in my bedroom. Like I watch all my TV. If I cook in the kitchen, which is tiny. But lately, instead of taking the food upstairs, watching TV when I eat, I've been on the computer and doing stuff. So I got 75-inch sharp TV. Watching the Super Bowl is great. It's getting old now. Yeah, the TV I have upstairs. It's an oh God, what is it? I want to say it's a 42-inch Sanyo. I seriously, I bought this thing like 10 years ago. I bought another one that was on a swivel, and I gave it to my mom because I put everything I could fit in my car. The TV would fit in my car. The big one wouldn't, so I gave it to my mom. And I was going to buy a new TV once I moved out here. It's just I haven't had a chance yet. So, yeah, the last NCAA. Yeah, I love the coaching mode. That was my favorite. I think the last time I played, I had college football, and it was super play action football. Oh wow. Yeah, I don't like Madden, but I love NCAA. And the thing is, the NCAA has a phenomenal game coach mode. You can be either an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. And I always set it up that so that they had 1 through 6 stars. So like, I think North Texas or like the MAC schools were a 1 star. And then like, Alabama was a 6 star. And I always like and what I did is I like the randomness of it. So usually I would end up as a coach. I would just simulate a full season. It took, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And then once that finished, there would be a hire mode, and you could get hired to different, oh God, Techno Super Bowl. I don't know if you've been on. I don't know how long you've been. Last draft show, I had Bufa. Bufa plays Techno Super Bowl. He found the downloaded version. So yeah. I seriously, I have the 42-inch Sanyo that I've had for 10 years. That's the only TV I have. Currently, I was looking at. I want to say it's a 52-inch Samsung that's like $400, and maybe it's 48. I don't know. I was looking at that. I'm waiting on my income tax refund, and I haven't been making as much money here. And then I didn't work for a couple of weeks when I was out here, so I'm getting caught up on some things. But sometime in the near future, I'm going to have to buy a couch and a TV and, try to make this more livable. But the month I've been out here, the only thing I have set up is the bedroom, and it's not perfect, but yeah. In Vegas, come out to Vegas. So TCL QM8. I'll be honest. I'm probably just going to buy a TV for like I probably won't spend. I think I will be shocked if I spend more than $500 on a TV. The ones at Walmart that are like $400, I think will fit perfect. And then there's a place it's called Las Vegas Factory that has couches and different stuff. I went in there, talked to a guy. Used to be a stand-up comedian, really, really cool guy. I just didn't see anything I liked. And the closest thing I saw was this gray couch that I just didn't like. It was like $600. It's like 2 miles away, so it's free delivery. So, yeah. When I afford it, I'm going to have someone make me a custom version of Techno Super Bowl with all-time, all that. Yeah. I don't know if you remember this. I used to play the all-time. Okay, so the last version of Techno Bowl I had, it was a weird cheat code. If you got, you had to win like 2 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls, and then it would let you have like some, not all, but they would let you have several all-time great players. It used to let you have like Walter Payton, Gale Sayers, Jim Brown. I think Lawrence Taylor, and it was a weird cheat code, and you could sign these players. It was years and years and years ago, but yeah. So because I drive for Walmart, I'm kind of a Walmart dude. I'll be honest. I love Sam's Club. There's 2 of them out here, and they're both pretty cool. And yeah. Yeah, it might be Techno Bowl 3. It was a long time ago, and I had no idea how I think somebody told me. I have no idea how I found it. It was just really weird because all of a sudden I had like I think it was like 10 or 15 like all-time great players. I just remember Jim Brown, Walter Payton, and Gale Sayers just off the top of my head. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I remember really getting a kick out of it. But NCAA, as far as I'm concerned, is probably the best. The last NCAA game with Denard Robinson on the cover. I don't know if you heard the story. Like Denard Robinson, after he left the NFL, he ballooned up. He was like 260 or something. So yeah. Really? Oh, you don't have to, yeah. So there in Overland Park where I used to live, Sam's Club was 3 miles away, and I would do deliveries there. I would pick up deliveries like 5 to 8 times a day, and it was the same group of people, and they're all super, super nice, and they worked really hard. And because they were so nice to me, I got a Sam's Club membership, and the gas prices were a lot lower, so I fill up every day. I don't fill up at Sam's Clubs here because the lines go six car deep. So, and it's also a lot further away. The one where I lived at, it was only 3 miles away. So, I would go and the biggest line, I would leave if there was more than 2 cars. And then coming out here to Vegas, the lines for the gas pumps at Sam's Club are like 6 deep, and I just don't do it. So I have the app to almost every single gas station. There's one, the Circle K one, which they don't even have in Overland Park. They had the Circle K's here. You download the app, you save 25 cents a gallon. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And there's never been a line, and it's like two miles from my condo. So, but yeah, there's 2 Sam's Clubs. They're about, I don't know the distance miles wise, but because of traffic, it's like 20 minutes each way. I was there earlier today. So yeah, Sam's Club's really cool. It's really cool. I imagine Costco's the same way though. If you go when it's busy, you're going to be a while. What they do is they have one person at the exit with a scanner gun, and it usually takes a while. So. Yeah, they had some pregnant girl there today. She was nice, but oh God, she was slow. Yeah, so Sam's Club's pretty cool. Yeah, that's probably where I'm gonna buy my TV, but I have to wait for my refund and we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Oh man. I'm on level with you guys. I don't have much. I've just been working on my mock draft. I did that earlier today. I've been really excited about it. Please check it out if you haven't. The link's in the description below. Keaton Talk Sports was so jealous of my mock draft that he decided he wanted to do his mock draft on Monday. He copied off me directly, which I allowed because he's been a guest on the show a couple times and's had phenomenal input. So both me and Keaton will have mock drafts released on Monday. I think he's going to do his with trades. I'm going to do mine without trades. Depending on the time, I may do a 2-round mock. I may do a 2-round mock with trades. My time's been pretty limited. So it's funny. I used to work the front door at a BJ's wholesale club, and I would people coming in. They would ask me if they're affiliated with Sam's Club, and I would tell them, "No, we are competitive. No, we are competitor. I'm assuming it's competitors. I've never heard of BJ's wholesale club. I've never heard of BJ's wholesale club. And that's something new. There's a few stores out here that they don't have. The running shoes I bought from a local business out here. I think it's Red Rock or something like that. It was kind of neat. That's another thing is moving out here. It's a much bigger area. So The last shows with Keys. Yeah, it was. It was. I had no idea Keys had to leave early, and Keaton has been a phenomenal guest, and I've really enjoyed having him on. I'm trying to get him to come on more often, but Keaton is so jealous of how much better my mock drafts are than his that he's been weary about coming on. And Keys' schedule's just gotten kind of chaotic, but I love having Keys on. Doing the show is a lot easier with a guest. I tried to get Denver Gator to come on. Denver Gator, when he does come on, is amazing. Luke G was going to come on, and then I had the fire in the situation. Since I moved out here, I have not reached out to him, but I'm going to try my best to get Luke G on soon. I haven't reached out to him in a while. BJS. I've never even heard of that. I've never even heard of BJS. I've never even heard of that. BJ's. Is it BJ's Delivery Groceries? BJ's Wholesale Club? Huh. I've never heard of that. Wow. I've never heard of that. Yeah. Yeah. So where I used to live at, I'm going to call it it's a place called Overland Park, suburb of Kansas City. Sam's Club's just 3 miles away. I think Costco is 4 or 5. Actually, Costco is literally just right down the road, and Sam's Club isn't. I might subscribe to, Luke not streaming. Really? Okay. I need to reach out to Luke. Since I moved out to Vegas, I haven't reached out to him. You know the deal. As crazy as it sounds, I'm thinking Dallas trades down and Jerry goes nuts and goes ahead and drafts Xavier Worthy. Actually, I would really like that. So you know the deal in my mock draft. I don't know if you watched it or not. Please do. I'm going to ruin it, though. I have the Cowboys trading up and getting J.C. Latham, the massive right tackle out of Alabama. Nick Saban and Jerry Jones have an excellent relationship. J.C. Latham, I think, would be a perfect fit for the Dallas Cowboys. They would be plug and play on the right side, and I think he would be great. And and part of the reason I think Dallas could trade up with Denver is I could see Denver wanting to trade down. And you know this. You know this. Sean Payton started his coaching career right there in Big D. So they have a good relationship. So, but Dallas trading down, I think makes sense. I like Xavier Worthy for the Cowboys. I don't think it's that crazy to say Dallas drafts a receiver, but I like in my last mock draft, I've had J.C. Latham to Dallas, but I had Dallas trading up. and I think if J.C. Latham is available, Dallas will get him because that's plug and play. And he's the type of guy I think that you want to draft because I think one of the differences is that what Dallas did this year than last year is they ran the ball more, but Tony Pollard's not an every down player, and they realize that. So I could see them getting. Matter of fact, the mock draft I was looking at, I don't know how much of the show you listened to because I mentioned it several times. So I don't have a link to it. The 4-round mock, Dallas has taken the running back out of. I know they have taken. I'm drawing a blank here. I want to say they have taken Trey Benson out of Florida State, and I love that pick because he's a bigger dude. He's like 220, and I really like that move, getting a bigger running back in Dallas. So if you want with if you want with J.C. Latham, and then you go ahead and you go in the 2nd or 3rd round, you go with like Trey Benson. There's some good running backs in this draft. There's not a star. There's nobody that I'm going, oh, this is a Pro Bowler. But Benson out of Florida State's a guy I like. He's a bigger dude. J.C. Latham on the right side. You get a rookie running back. Yeah. And Perry, I agree completely. I really think that Dallas will get a running back in the 2nd or 3rd round. And that's why I like J.C. Latham in a running back. And then here's what you do. Hey, our offense is going to be first rate. Our defense is going to continue to be good. let's go. But fixing right tackles is I think the number one thing that they're going to do. And by the way, I like their offensive line as is. I think they're starting right tackles. Was it Terrence Steele? He's not a bad player, but you can use an upgrade. Yeah, I've never heard of BJ's Wholesale. This is the very first time I've heard of it. There is a Costco just right down the road. I actually maybe I should consider, because Sam's Club's pretty far away. My mom, I got the membership where my mom can also use it. My mom loves going there. So, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm really excited. My mock draft's going to come out. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on my mock draft. There's a team in the middle of the draft. I keep picking a different player for, so I haven't ironed it out yet. But the mock draft will come out on Monday. Keys, welcome, brother. He just turned in the time. Say Dan likes a bigger dude. Is that like a Bubba? Oh God, this is why I'm ending the show early. So, well, in reference to that, I was talking about Dallas. I could see Dallas drafting somebody bigger to play running back. And I do. I see them in the second or third round drafting our running back. But I firmly, the deal, you tell me. But Nick Saban and Jerry Jones have a good relationship. There's a hole at right tackle. J.C. Latham been a phenomenal player at right tackle. I think if he's available, I think it's a no-brainer. In my last mock, I had Dallas trading up to take J.C. Latham, plug and play. And then in the later rounds, you get a bigger running back, and I like that for Dallas because Mike McCarthy ran the ball more last year than he did 2 years ago with he's now the offensive coordinator in Philly. Drawing a complete blank. Kellen Moore. So when Kellen Moore left, he took over the Chargers offense. Chargers are going to be more of a running team. Kellen Moore in Philly is very weird because he's more of a pass first coach, and that's why I could see Pickett going there, because I could see Pickett really working well in that offense, and I think it fits what he would do well, but he's not going to take over for Jalen Hurts. But how does Jalen Hurts respond in an offense that's pass first, or does Kellen Moore come in and go, yeah, this is going to be the system, but we'll use more running plays. And so that's why Philly's just going to be a very strange team, because I think Vic Fangio fits that team and the defense like a hand in the glove. But then you're making changes on offense. I'm like, well, how's that going to work? So they got a BJ's Wholesale by me. Wow, it's a 20. Yeah, so I pay. I got like the Plus membership. I think it's like $100 a year. I can come in earlier. I get like free delivery. There's like I don't know if you can tell. I have a scratch on my glasses. I probably need to get new glasses. It's just that the frames I got the titanium Ray-Bans and they're like super lightweight. I really don't want new frames. I just want new lenses. I used to wear contacts all the time, and I got a bunch of contact lenses, and I mixed all the boxes up. Last time I wore contacts, I could barely. So I was driving, and the car in front of me, I couldn't read the license plate. I'm like, that's probably not a good thing. So, yeah, that's why the Kellen Moore going to Philly is really weird, because Hurts, as much as I love Jalen Hurts, I don't want Jalen Hurts going back there 50, 60 times a game and just going ding, 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 ding. That's not what he does best. But Kellen Moore, that's kind of the offense that he ran his last year in Dallas. That's kind of what they did for a while. with the Chargers. Now keep in mind the Chargers situation was just kind of weird, and then Easton Stick started, what was it, the last 5 or 6 games. I also didn't like the way that they used Austin Eckler because they kept on using him more between the tackles, and they didn't want to use him after they gave him more money because he complained. Now he got a big contract in Washington. Really, really, I think Washington could be a low key team. I actually think as of today, as of right now, wait till the draft. But I'd probably put them over the Giants. So, but yeah, Philly's got to build it around. So, but hey, listen, I'm going to wrap up. Final thoughts, questions, suggestions, anything at all. To be fair, Mork ran Dak in a run-heavy offense. He threw the ball more than he ran the ball, and then last year Dallas had a more balanced offense. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that. All I know is that they were everywhere he's been. It's been more of a pass-heavy offense, and Philly's a team that's more run-oriented than pass-oriented. Now, keep in mind they pass more they still pass more in Dallas, but it was more of a balanced offense, which is weird because you no longer had Ezekiel Elliott. So, yeah, that's it. So here's the deal: you lose Zeke, and then you run the ball more. And that's another thing is that Tennessee gave Tony Pollard a 3-year, $24 million deal, where Derrick Henry got a 2-year, $16 million deal in Baltimore. And I'm like, yeah, Tennessee's the only team in the offseason I'm looking at. I like the players they got, but they paid a lot of money. And I'm not sure I'm giving Tony Pollard the same money I'm giving Derrick Henry, especially if I'm Tennessee. But yeah. But I'll be honest, Kellen Moore in Philly, I have no idea how that's going to work. I hope it works. I mean, Philly's going to be a fun team. All right. Guys, that's all I have. I will, mock draft will be out on Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday. I'm going to reach out. I may or may not have a guest. Maybe I'll be able to talk Keys on coming in on Tuesday. Keaton Talk Sports has been jealous of how much better my mock drafts are than his. Maybe I can get him to come on as well, and we can discuss our mock drafts. So I think Henry, he did. And there was talk about him going to Dallas. There was talk about him going to Baltimore. I like him going to Baltimore, and I like what they've done with the offensive line so far. I think Derrick Henry, depends on how much he has left. I think he could be really, really, really good in Baltimore. It'll be exciting. I'm actually kind of excited to see what he does in Baltimore. I think it could be really good. If you do fantasy, unless you're in a touchdown, I can see Derrick Henry having like 700 yards and like 11 touchdowns. So it wouldn't surprise me if Lamar Jackson led the team in rushing again. So, all right, guys, have a great weekend. I'll see you back on Tuesday, but do watch my mock draft. It will be out Monday morning early. Have a great weekend. Watch the mock draft, and I hope to see everybody back on Tuesday.